So I was really fortunate to have received this award in January, and I'm so thankful for AOTF for this funding. And it's interesting because I was thinking back, and the very first study that I assisted on was actually funded by AOTF. So my strong interest in research and in supporting families and children all started with AOTF. So I wanted to take some time today to talk a little bit about the background of this project, as well as why we think that this work is so important. So the original project was funded through the National Institutes of Health through an F32 mechanism, which is an individual postdoctoral fellowship award. And we were funded to examine challenging eating behavior in young children with autism. And as part of this project, I'm really fortunate because I get to work with and learn from a fantastic mentorship team. So Brian Boyd at Juniper Gardens is the primary mentor on the project, and then Ann Davis, Brenda Sally, and Fred Sheik are all co-mentors on the project. And Brian Boyd is also the primary mentor on this AOTF award as well. So the reason why we think that this work is so important and why we're interested in studying these challenging eating behaviors is first because these eating behaviors are highly prevalent. So research suggests that over 80% of children with autism exhibit these challenging eating behaviors. And second, children with autism are at a higher risk for obesity and malnutrition compared to typically developing children. And third, there's symptom overlap between autism and anorexia nervosa. So of individuals diagnosed with anorexia nervosa, approximately 26% of them also have a diagnosis of autism. And we know that anorexia nervosa has the highest mortality rate of mental health disorders. So there are some very serious health consequences associated with these challenging eating behaviors that place a clear health risk on the child. And I could go into the literature and research on these challenging eating behaviors all day, but the primary reason why we're interested in studying these eating behaviors and why we think that this work is so important is because of parents. I was an interventionist on a study providing occupational therapy services via telehealth to parents with a young child with autism. And the study was also funded by AOTF. And what we found was that parents often had concerns related to mealtime because it was highly concerning to them and because they felt like they weren't meeting their child's basic needs. And the literature suggests that these challenging eating behaviors are cause for significant parent stress. And it's really hard when you're in a session with a family and you don't have really great answers for them because the research is sparse. We currently don't have a standard of care, and we currently don't know how to systematically tailor interventions based around individual child characteristics. So that's really the purpose of this study, is to first understand what are some of those underlying factors associated with these challenging eating behaviors so that we can then develop evidence-based interventions so that we can systematically tailor interventions based around those individual child characteristics. So stay tuned for the results. All in all, we are so excited and so thankful for this funding from AOTF. I will be able to receive more training on interpersonal physiological synchrony. And this funding is so important to young investigators, and I'm committed to the future of science in OT. And we hope that we can use this funding as strong pilot data for a future early career award. So as OTs, we are familiar with these strong parental concerns around eating behaviors. And I hope that this study can really provide us with a better understanding of those eating behaviors, as well as answers to those questions so that we can best support parents and children. So thank you again, and thank you so much for listening.